This is two-time World Champion Johnny Damon, and you are watching BT Talks Baseball. Take it away, Brett.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome back inside BT Talks Baseball. I want to thank Johnny Damon for that great introduction. And for the first time in BT Talks Baseball history, the person who did my introduction is also going to be my guest on the show. Johnny Damon will be joining me in just a few minutes. And you know, over the last couple of weeks, I've been alluding to the fact that BT Talks Baseball is going to be reformatted and changing and moving to a new time. I'm finally going to be able to tell you about that in just a little bit. But first, let's get to Johnny Damon. Johnny, thank you so much for joining me right here on BT Talks Baseball.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brett.
Johnny, I'm sure you're asked about the 2004 American League Championship Series multiple times a day, but I'm going to ask you about it again here. Talk a little bit about the situation. You guys were down 3-0, facing elimination. What was the mood like when you were facing the New York Yankees for Game 4?
Yeah, well, the good thing about our Red Sox team is we always had each other's backs. We were joking around, saying that we weren't ready to go in car line and take our kids to school and pick them up. And so we were just joking, having fun. And we really had no pressure on us. I mean, it was for the Yankees to lose. And I'm not sure if the Yankees lost 4 games in a row that entire season. I mean, they were really good. And for them to lose 4 straight in the playoffs goes to show you how special that year and that bond with my Red Sox teammates were.
And of course, you guys came back to win that epic Game 4. You won Game 5, you won Game 6, and then Game 7 was the Johnny Damon show. Talk a little bit about that night.
Going into the second inning, I mean, my teammates did a really good job at getting on base. And my whole thing for that at-bat was make sure you at least get 1 run in, because I remember what happened the year before. I hit a hard shot to Jeter, turns to double play. We don't score that extra run, and maybe we go to the World Series in 2003. You never know what's going to happen. So I wanted to make sure I got 1 run in. I got jammed a little bit, and fortunately we were in Yankee Stadium. And the great thing about playing this game of baseball is the fans. And you know, you bring them to their feet, and you also silence them. And that was one of those silencing moments that I'm always going to remember. Fortunately, I got that ball out by a couple feet, and then my next home run, a couple innings later, I mean, that ball was absolutely tattooed, and I definitely got extension on that one, and that gave us a big lead. But if you notice, I wasn't smiling coming around the bases, because I remember what happened the year before with Aaron F. Boone, and the game wasn't going to be over until, you know, the final out was made. So our team pulled together, and we definitely had a lot of confidence going into the World Series with St. Louis.
Of course, you win that Game 7 and finish off one of the most memorable American League Championship Series in history, and you go on to face the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series, trying to snap the curse and win the first championship for the Red Sox since 1918. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was really strange, because every one of the Yankee games, I mean, it was highly intense. And then we get into the World Series, and it was a bit calmer, you know. St. Louis is a great team. They have great fans, but, you know, it felt like a regular game for us. And it was just an awesome feeling to end the curse after 86 years.
Johnny, you played this game for a long time, but I have to think 2004 was one of the biggest years of your career.
Oh, absolutely, and probably the biggest. I mean, I know I had a really good career. I continued with the Yankees, and obviously the team they did not want me to go to, but it worked out for everybody.
And talk about that for a second, because of course you played for the Red Sox, and then you went to the Yankees, and you had the unique opportunity to play on both sides of such a heated rivalry. What was that like?
Oh, it was so amazing. I mean, I feel like I was at the right place at the right time, you know, reversing the curse in 2004, going to New York and, you know, closing out the old Yankee Stadium with a game-winning home run, opening up the new Yankee Stadium with the first hit, winning the last championship for Mr. Steinbrenner, feel like I was in the right place at the right time.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much for joining me right here on BT Talks Baseball. Stay well.
Thank you for having me, and hope your show keeps on going strong, and hopefully we'll catch up someday in the future.
And now, finally, after much build-up, I'm so excited to announce that BT Talks Baseball will be joining the 365 Sports Network, a brand new streaming network which will begin in January. And BT Talks Baseball is going to air every Sunday night, a live 1-hour show. I'm reformatting. I'm bringing in my interview segment, and I'm adding a bunch of new segments, baseball travel. I'm going to talk to baseball authors and so much more. So stay tuned for all of the great things that are going to be happening right here on BT Talks Baseball. Well, not right here, over on the 365 Sportscast Network. And joining me right now is one of the co-founders of the network, Mark Rosenman. Mark, thank you so much for joining me right here on BT Talks Baseball.
Absolute pleasure, Brett.
Mark, can you talk a little bit about 365 Sportscast and how it came to be?
Sure. So AJ and myself, AJ Carter and myself, have been doing Sports Talk New York for in the neighborhood of 15 years. We started as an internet-only. Back in the day, it was on a thing called Ustream, and then we brought it to terrestrial radio. We did it at terrestrial radio for over 12 years, and the 12 years we were at the radio station, the station continued to change format. It went from talk radio to a gospel, back to talk radio, and then finally a Bollywood station. And AJ and I just looked at each other and said, listen, we've built this niche for ourselves at this station with no real lead-in. Imagine what we could do if we had an all-sports network. Knowing that the internet is the wave of the future, I started investigating starting my own radio station, and we've been building it out with shows like yourself. And throughout the country, there are so many great podcasts that we reached out and we listened to what we felt was compelling content, and we felt that these would transfer well to a radio format, and we feel that the reach will be phenomenal.
Mark, of course, you've been the host of Sports Talk New York for many years, and that's going to be the flagship show of 365 Sportscast. You've written a bunch of books, Down on the Corner about Ralph Kiner, Glove Story about baseball fathers and sons. How is your expertise and your knowledge going to play into the overall 365 Sportscast experience?
I hope to be a mentor to a lot of younger broadcasters, and through this pandemic, I've been home a lot, so I've spoken to a lot of different journalism classes through Zooms, and I've really enjoyed that. And I feel that the interview process has really gone stale. I don't believe, there are no more Larry Kings of the world out there, and I think that. That's lacking. And I don't know whether it's because of the short attention spans, but I think that we underestimate the public. And I really think that if we give them long-form interviews, they're going to enjoy it and they're going to get a lot out of it. And I think that's where our strength will be. And I'm looking forward to helping people along the way, whether it be through contacts, different shows, like there'll be multiple shows about specific teams, team specific. So I also want to help those people in how they get in contact with public relations departments and how they build themselves a reputation that athletes will speak to them and reach out to those athletes, and those athletes will get back to them. So that's what I'm hoping to be able to do as well.
Well, Mark, I'm so excited that BT Talks Baseball is going to be part of 365 Sportscast. Thank you so much for joining me and talking about it today.
My pleasure, and can't wait to hear your first show in January on the network.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of BT Talks Baseball. I want to thank my guest, Johnny Damon. Thank you to Mark Rosenman for coming on and talking about 365 Sportscast. And, of course, thanks to you. I leave you, as always, with the words of the immortal Tug McGraw, you gotta believe. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you real soon. If you are interested in getting a signed copy of any one of Brett Topel's books, please visit us at www.topelmetsbook.com.
Thanks, Mark. That was great.